Why do some people seem destined for misery while others thrive? Today, we're exploring the counterintuitive paths that lead to a life of persistent unhappiness. But fair warning, this isn't your typical self-help advice. We often hear about the habits of successful people, but what about the habits that guarantee misery? Let's flip the script and examine the lesser discussed behaviors that trap individuals in cycles of discontent. First up, embrace rigid thinking. The surest way to stay miserable is to cling to inflexible beliefs and resist new ideas at all costs. When faced with evidence that challenges your worldview, double down on your existing opinions. Treat your thoughts as immutable facts rather than malleable constructs. This inflexibility creates a cognitive prison, limiting your ability to adapt and grow. Consider the case of Alex, a software engineer who refused to learn new programming languages. As technology evolved, Alex's skills became obsolete, leading to job loss and financial strain. But instead of adapting, Alex blamed the industry, further entrenching a victim mentality that perpetuated his misery. Rigid thinking extends beyond career choices. It seeps into relationships, politics, and personal growth. By rejecting alternative perspectives, you deny yourself the opportunity to evolve and find novel solutions to life's challenges. Next, let's talk about the power of comparison. To ensure lasting unhappiness, constantly measure your life against others, especially through the distorted lens of social media. Focus on the curated highlights of your peers' lives while ignoring the struggles they don't share publicly. This comparison trap is particularly insidious in the digital age. Platforms like Instagram and LinkedIn create a highlight reel effect, where people showcase their best moments while hiding their hardships. By internalizing these unrealistic standards, you set yourself up for perpetual disappointment. But don't stop at comparing yourself to your immediate circle. Expand your misery by fixating on celebrities, influencers, and thought leaders. Convince yourself that their seemingly perfect lives are the norm, and anything less is a personal failure. Remember, the goal is to feel inadequate at every turn. So when you achieve a goal, immediately shift your focus to someone who's accomplished more. This ensures you never savor your successes or feel content with your progress. Now, let's delve into the art of rumination. To maximize your misery, replay past mistakes and embarrassments on a constant loop in your mind. Don't just recall these events, relive them with vivid detail, complete with physical sensations of discomfort and shame. Rumination goes beyond simple reflection. It's an obsessive form of thought that prevents you from processing emotions and moving forward. By dwelling on past failures, you reinforce neural pathways associated with negative experiences, making it easier to recall and relive these moments in the future. To enhance your rumination practice, create elaborate what-if scenarios. Imagine how your life could have been different if you'd made other choices. This not only keeps you stuck in the past but also fosters regret and self-doubt about your current path. Psychologists have long recognized the detrimental effects of rumination on mental health. It's linked to increased rates of depression, anxiety, and even physical health problems. By making rumination a daily habit, you're laying the groundwork for chronic unhappiness. Let's shift gears and talk about relationships. To ensure misery, surround yourself with toxic people who drain your energy and undermine your self-esteem. Seek out friends and partners who are consistently negative, critical, and unsupportive. But don't stop there. Maintain these harmful relationships at all costs. When someone treats you poorly, make excuses for their behavior and blame yourself instead. This approach guarantees a steady stream of emotional turmoil and prevents you from forming healthy, nurturing connections. Consider the story of Sarah, who stayed in an emotionally abusive relationship for years. She convinced herself that she didn't deserve better and that her partner's behavior was her fault. This mindset not only prolonged her suffering but also eroded her sense of self-worth, making it harder to leave even when the opportunity arose. To compound this effect, isolate yourself from positive influences. Push away friends and family members who offer support and encouragement. Their positivity might accidentally improve your mood or give you ideas about changing your situation. Now, let's explore the role of personal responsibility, or rather, the lack thereof. To maintain a miserable existence, refuse to take ownership of your life circumstances. Instead, cultivate a victim mentality where external forces are always to blame for your problems. This approach serves several purposes. First, it absolves you of the need to take action or make difficult changes. After all, if everything is beyond your control, why bother trying? Second, it provides a convenient excuse for any failures or setbacks you encounter. But to truly excel at avoiding responsibility, you need to go beyond simple blame. Develop elaborate narratives about how the world is conspiring against you. See unfairness and injustice in every interaction, no matter how benign. This victim mentality creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. By assuming the worst in every situation, you're more likely to interpret neutral events negatively and overlook potential opportunities. This reinforces your belief that you're powerless, creating a cycle of learned helplessness. Let's turn our attention to goal setting, or more accurately, the art of setting yourself up for failure. To guarantee ongoing dissatisfaction, set vague and realistic goals without any concrete plan for achieving them. Start by dreaming big, but keep things abstract. Instead of "I want to start a successful business," go for "I want to be a billionaire entrepreneur." The key is to focus on the end result without considering the steps required to get there. Next, set arbitrary deadlines that don't account for the complexity of your goals. Give yourself 6 months to become a world-renowned expert in a field you've never studied. This creates a perfect storm of pressure and inevitable disappointment. But don't stop there. To maximize your misery, tie your entire sense of self-worth to achieving these impossible standards. Make it clear to yourself that you're a complete failure if you don't reach your goals exactly as envisioned and within the unrealistic time frame you've set. This approach to goal setting is particularly effective at crushing motivation and fostering a sense of inadequacy. By consistently falling short of your expectations, you reinforce the belief that you're incapable of success, discouraging future attempts at self-improvement. Now, let's explore the power of negativity bias. While humans naturally tend to focus more on negative information, you can amplify this effect to ensure a constant state of dissatisfaction. Start by actively seeking out bad news and worst-case scenarios. Make a habit of consuming media that reinforces your pessimistic worldview. When something positive happens, immediately search for the potential downsides or reasons it won't last. Take this a step further by engaging in catastrophic thinking. When faced with a challenge, immediately jump to the most disastrous possible outcome. Don't just worry about a presentation going poorly. Convince yourself that one mistake will end your career and leave you destitute. This negativity bias serves as a filter through which you experience the world. Let's shift our focus to physical well-being, or rather, how to neglect it effectively. To maintain a state of misery, it's crucial to ignore the connection between physical and mental health. Start by developing erratic sleep patterns. Alternate between staying up all night and sleeping through the day. When you do sleep, make sure it's in an uncomfortable environment with plenty of electronic distractions. Nutrition is another key area for sabotage. Opt for a diet high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats. Not only will this impact your physical health, but it'll also contribute to mood swings and energy crash that reinforce your negative mindset. Exercise, avoid it at all costs. Instead, spend as much time as possible in sedentary activities. The goal is to deny your body the endorphins and stress relief benefits that physical activity provides. This neglect of physical health creates a vicious cycle. Poor sleep, nutrition, and lack of exercise contribute to fatigue, irritability, and decreased cognitive function. These factors, in turn, make it harder to cope with life's challenges, feeding back into your overall sense of misery. Now, let's delve into the importance of living in extremes. To ensure ongoing unhappiness, reject the concept of balance and moderation in all aspects of life. In your work life, embrace workaholism, sacrifice sleep, relationships, and personal interests in pursuit of professional success. But don't stop there. Tie your entire sense of self-worth to your job performance and title. On the flip side, when you're not working, engage in excessive leisure activities. Binge watch entire seasons of TV shows, spend hours scrolling through social media, or immerse yourself in video games for days on end. The key is to feel guilty about your lack of productivity during these periods, creating a constant state of internal conflict. This all-or-nothing approach extends to personal relationships as well. Either completely isolate yourself or become overly dependent on others for your happiness. Avoid the middle ground where healthy, balanced relationships thrive. By living in extremes, you deny yourself the stability and contentment that come from a balanced lifestyle. This creates a roller coaster of emotions and experiences that keeps you in a constant state of turmoil. Lastly, let's explore the power of self-fulfilling prophecies. To guarantee a life of misery, it's essential to maintain a deeply pessimistic outlook and act in ways that confirm your negative expectations. Start by convincing yourself that you're destined for failure. When opportunities arise, hesitate or avoid them entirely, reinforcing your belief that success is out of reach. In social situations, assume others won't like you, leading to awkward interactions that seem to prove your point. This mindset creates a feedback loop of negativity. By expecting the worst, you unconsciously behave in ways that make negative outcomes more likely. These experiences then reinforce your pessimistic worldview, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of misery. To truly excel at self-fulfilling prophecies, apply this mindset to every aspect of your life. Believe that you're incapable of maintaining healthy relationships, and watch as your defensive behaviors push people away. Convince yourself that you'll never get out of debt, and make financial decisions that keep you trapped in a cycle of scarcity. By consistently acting in accordance with your negative beliefs, you create a reality that matches your expectations. This not only ensures ongoing unhappiness but also provides a sense of validation. After all, you were right about how things would turn out. In conclusion, achieving a life of persistent misery requires dedication and consistent effort across multiple areas of life. By embracing rigid thinking, constant comparison, rumination, toxic relationships, and a victim mentality, you lay a solid foundation for unhappiness. Combine this with unrealistic goal setting, negativity bias, physical neglect, living in extremes, and self-fulfilling prophecies, and you've created a comprehensive system for ensuring ongoing dissatisfaction. Remember, the path to misery is often subtle and incremental. It's the accumulation of daily choices and habits that ultimately shape our long-term happiness or discontent. By understanding these mechanisms, we gain insight into the complex nature of human psychology and the often counterintuitive paths that lead to fulfillment or despair.